Assalamualaikum and a very good morning to Dr. Azahra. I'm Wana Shakira binti Wan Muhammad Zulkarnain. So today I would like to present about my interview report with client with disability. So here is some background information about my client. My client is a 34 years old man who lives with his small family at Kota Baru, Kelantan. The client also have two children and he is a graduate from UITM in Diploma of Management. Currently, he works as a sales manager at one of the company at Kota Baru. So, the client got the disability when he lost one of his leg during a car accident in 2016. During the interview session, client told me that he used to be active in sports such as football, hiking, and also playing badminton. But after the incident, he became less active in sports, and he also experienced trauma to drive a car. Even he managed to do so. And then the client also experienced bad neck and back pain if he sit so many hours on wheelchair, especially during work hours. So yeah, that's it about the background about my client, and then we move to functional limitation. For the client, he used an electronic wheelchair in his daily life. And then, as for transportation, his wife will drive him to work every day and also to other places too. And then, for work tolerance, he also have the limitation in work tolerance where he did not have the ability and strength to possess physical work efforts that require his movement. So we move to part 3, which is major life activities or independent living skills that are affected the client. So firstly, for household activities, the client said that his house is completely accessible as he lived at one-story house that did not have any stairs. So he can move around with his wheelchair. Sometimes when at home, the client told me that he will manage his wheelchair manually by turning the wheels by hand because he wants to do some exercise, especially for his hands. And then, but somehow, his physical environment at his housing area, such as playground, is not really accessible, as he cannot move around himself to get some fresh air. Mm, the client told me that he's feel like really upset as he really want to accompany his children play at the playground, but it not really help him to move around with his wheelchair there. And then secondly, for health maintenance, eventually the client still having some back pain and neck pain due to his accident. Every day he will sit so many hours on wheelchair. Um, so so he will experience the serious neck pain as he focus too much on the computer screen while working. Based on the client information, he only managed to get off from his wheelchair at night for sleep only. However, the client still goes for regularly checkup at the hospital to check for his back pains because there are few broken spines at his back. And then we move to third living activities for this client is self-care. Self-care. The client has one transfer wooden bar besides his bed to help him manage himself to get off from wheelchair. But somehow, he told me during the interview, sometimes he cannot manage to work with the wooden bar alone because he will fall due to his weak leg, and it's also difficult for him to manage with one leg only. And then for the mobility, the client used electronic wheelchair to help him move around, especially at his workplace. But somehow he still feel uncomfortable even though his wheelchair have a good sitting posture. Sometimes he also lost stamina if he overwork, and his body will become weak. And for sure it will affect other activities too. During the interview session, the client told me that he will manage his wheelchair manually as long as he can manage it to improve his stamina and also get some exercise activities for his body. Okay, for the last part, which is discussion or recommendations or strategies to reduce barriers from the client. Firstly, for household activities, as the client loved to help his wife gardening before, so I think he can take the chance to do some gardening as he can move around easily at his house. I think he can put the pot on the table that have same level of height as him while sitting on the wheelchair, so it can help him with hand movements. And then secondly, for recreational part, during the interview session, the client told me that he loved he loves sports, so he can still play badminton or netball that only require his hand movements. Even though his hand will become weak, but he can try it from time to time. Somehow, it can help his body to become stronger. And then lastly, for mobility, the client should reconsider to driving again by trying to reduce his trauma. He can slowly driving again by taking the first step by drive around his neighborhood to regain his confidence. And then he need to stay active and positive in his daily activities. Based on my observation during the interview session, I think the client also can try to get back to his daily routines before accident, where he used to drive around without his wife help. So that's it about my interview session with the client. So that's all from me. Thank you.